Hey everybody, this is Tammy with Recycle2art.com, and I'm excited to be here with Summer Smith. She
How are
is
you?
this season's she is this season's featured artist, and she is a fabric upcycler. She does these amazing pillows and super cool coats. And I've been really enjoying watching your totes on the website as you've been putting blogs about them. And you've got this new piece that I really love. It's a dragon tapestry, and I'd love for you to tell us some more about it.
Well, it actually started as a raven, and I had gone um, back up. I had gone around, neighborhood, and collected denim because I was for my totes actually. I wanted to put used denim pockets and stuff on the totes, which I did, and so I kind of collected them from my half of Denver. Uh, and when I was done, I realized I had this gigantic box of denim. I had only used about a quarter of it, so I had to come up with something else. And I decided since the studio space that I rent, we're having an open house, that I would do a tapestry for the stairwell to hang in the stairwell. And my original idea was to do a raven in flight looking down on you, which sounds really awesome. And I had one printed out and realized
Yeah.
I can't draw. I just can't.
Mm.
There's some limitations to my creativity, and drawing is one of them. So I went on the internet, going to Pinterest like everybody does, and I looked for something I thought I could replicate. And I love dragons, and I ran across this. Called a quilter's square, of a
Hmm.
dragon on a mountaintop, and that's it. That's easy enough. It's a bunch of straight lines. I can do it. The intention of the quilting square is to be, 10 inches square or something. So
Right.
I have mine is 50 by 52. And so I had to actually draw it by hand. So I got a big piece of, leftover lining from drapery
Okay.
lining that I had acquired from another workroom that I used to draw on and stuff. And I sketched the whole dragon out, and tried to keep it so that there are sections. I mean, you can't just draw something and then cut it and sew it, because anybody who sews will tell you sewing octagons together is really hard. The more
Yeah, it's gotta be.
pieces of straight lines you can do, the better it is. So that was the goal on it, and that's why it sort of looks kind of boxy, is because you have to get the straight lines. You can sew triangles, you can sew right angles, but curves are really hard. So I I sketched the whole thing out, and I decided, okay, this is the size I want it to be. Now I got to cut out each piece and add seam allowance to it, because if I just sew it like I drew it, it's going to end up half that size. That's from the nature
Right.
of sewing things. Um, so I got out my box of denim, and I sorted it out into light, medium, and dark, black and gray and white, so that the mountains are all black and gray and the dragon is all shades of blue, trying to put, the dark blue under his wings so you can see that it's underneath, and the light blue is on top, to give some sort of sense of depth to the dragon. Um,
Well, and he's just
and
beautiful, and
and it is, and it took a lot of work, and I had to stop and start 100 times, and then I took it apart. And the end product is actually really neat. It looks really good. It looks much better from a distance than close up. But it was
mhm.
so hard, and my idea of keeping it in sections and straight lines didn't always work. So when I was done, I threw the pattern out and said, "Never again." I can do something again like it, but I'm going to be smarter about how I draw it next time, because I did end up sewing odd angle octagon pieces together because that's all I had left, and I was not going to cut a bunch of 1 inch triangles to make a straight line. So
Right.
it's a good piece, and I still have denim left, so there's going to be another one at some point. I thought I'd use it all, but no, I didn't. So
Right.
anyway, so that's how it came about, is, and it does hang in the stairwell here, at my art studio.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Everyone, Summer is actually going to have an open studio this weekend at Prism Art Studios. Is that what it is? The name of
Prism
it? Am I saying it right?
workspaces. Yeah,
Prison
and we have
Workspaces in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, we have, there's actually 67 artists, I believe, that rent space in this building. So it's an old industrial building that I was 8 years ago now, I believe, a couple bought it and they divided it up into the workspaces that we rent. Um, and what I love about it is not all of them are squares. There are some trapezoidal workspaces that are pretty cool. And there's some people that rent
Yeah.
200 square feet and some people that rent 3,000 square feet. So there's something for
Okay.
everybody, depending on what it is that you need to do. I personally have 1,000 square feet, and it's not a rectangle. I have like 800 square feet in a square, and then I have a little alleyway that goes behind everybody off to the side. That's another 200 where I keep all my storage and stuff. So
Oh,
it
nice.
works out really well. And I think we're having around 50 of the artists will be here and be open. So it's worth
Nice.
coming down. And we have everyone from the guy next to me is a jewelry designer and he does silversmithing. We have a lady downstairs that does mosaic work. There's a whole bunch of painters in every style you can imagine. And there's a few people who do canvases that have both painting and cloth on them that are really neat. There's just there's sculptors and clay artists. There's a lady who makes greeting cards. Like we have one of everyone, it seems. The lady directly below my space does upholstery work. So it's worth coming to see. We are at 999 Vallejo Street. It's kind of an industrial area, and it's right near the corner of 8th and I-25. Like literally, I could
Exactly
throw a
where
rock
that's
out my
at.
window and hit the freeway.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And then what day and time is this
It's this Friday,
event?
November
Okay.
12th, from 5 to 9 p.m.
Fantastic. And then so they'll get to walk through your studio and see
I'll have
your
my
work
studio
and see
set
your art.
up, with some of the products that I've made. What I actually do to pay all the bills is I sew for interior designers. And that's not work. But what's left over from that is all of the scraps that I do the pillows and the tote bags from are all the leftover scraps that a lot of which normally ends up in the garbage. And I have been one to go through other workrooms' garbages. Like I'm not afraid of dumpster diving. I do it at my mom's. I just went to see my mom and I went to her upholstery room and started digging through the scraps. I'm like, but these little 1-inch pieces of leather, those are savable. So yeah. So that's what you'll see. So when you come in, my regular work will be set aside. You'll still be able to see it. But what I'm going to put up is the creativity that comes from not
Right.
throwing anything away. The coat.
That's fantastic.
That's
I've been
that's
staring
behind me. That's made from
and
the same denim as the dragon.
wow, I
And
have been completely distracted by how absolutely beautiful that coat is. It's just so
it was
pretty.
so much fun to make. It really, so
I
that's
love it.
that's the other part. That's the same denim that's in the dragon. I made a coat, I made a bunch of bags. Now I've made a dragon. I still have denim left over, so there'll be more stuff. And I'm going to have all of my bags out. There a variety from some of them are silk and velvet. They're all tote bags. Some of them are a little more. Denim and lace and leather, and I've got one made out of an old coffee bag. So there's something for everybody. And then I do
Perfect.
have some clothing. The coats I made
Okay.
recently, trying to use up my scrap again. I've got several coats that I've made that will be available to see that are made from the leftovers from the process of which I sew. And then I have several other things that I made before I moved to Colorado. I'm been here only 5 years. And when I was in California, I did a whole bunch of recycled women's and children's clothing. I actually started with children's clothing. And then I did women's clothing, and I still have some of that here, although haven't made a lot of it other than for myself.
Can't wait to
So I
see.
still have some of that recycled stuff. You cut off the stain and cut out the moth hole, and you put something else on it. So that'll be available to see
Oh,
too.
that's so cool. So when we get there, there's a lot of artists, right? So
Yeah,
how do we find you?
I am the very last up the stairs and in the back. So our
Okay.
building is divided into 4 units. Starting with unit 1, it has 2 stories, and it's its own contained unit. It has a number on it. They just painted them these beautiful yellow, orange, and purple colors. And so there's several artists in there. There's a guy who does furniture out of beetle kill pine. totally worth seeing. And so you go in and you see those studios, and then you come back out the same door and you go over to door number 2. And and door number 2 is unit 2. And there's, I don't know, maybe there's 25 artists in unit 2, which also has 2 floors. So I'm in unit 2 and I'm upstairs, and I'm the last studio in the back. And I've got my bags and another gnome and tree tapestry out in front of my studio. So, and then again, the other studios, because of the noise levels, we're all sectioned off so that my sewing machines don't bother those people who need to be quiet and do their painting. So you go back out door number 2 and you go back in door number 3 to see units 3 and 4.
Well, it sounds like a really unique layout and well thought out.
It is, yeah.
So you guys can have your private spaces. Well, I'm super excited to see you on Friday and take a tour of your studio. And wanted to let everyone know, if you go to recycle2art.com, Summer is the featured artist. So you're going to see a quick little video of or actually it's a slideshow of some of her work. And each of the images is actually going to link you to her page on Recycle2art. So that way, if you have a question about a piece, you can just message her directly from the website, and then she can get back to you about pricing, or if you have a question about the event, I'm sure she'd be happy to respond and tell you, the address again if you need it. I'm going to do it one more time before we end our nice little meeting here. If you could give us that address again, that'd be great.
It's 999 Vallejo Street, Vallejo, in Denver. And again, that's near 8th and I-25.
Great. And that's this Friday from
this Friday
5 to 9.
To 9 p.m. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see you. And thank you so much for coming on and letting us have a small peek into your world of amazingness. And
thank you for having me. Yeah. And I hope to see everyone. Please, would love to see everyone come. You really have to come and experience all the amazing people here. It's really worth it.
Yeah, make sure you say hi to Summer and let her know where you saw her from, so she knows that you met her through this fun little interview. So thank you again, and thank you for being such a great member of the site and being so active and creating through recycling.
Thank you. It is my joy to share it with the world. And I thank you for having the site. It's exactly what we need.
We'll see you Friday.
Okay. See you Friday. Thank you.